Yeah. Yep. I'm 43. Been here my whole life. Born in Oklahoma City. Went to a private school up until 7th grade, and then we moved to where my parents still live.
Yeah.
10 acres in Edmond.
Okay.
And I was a part of the first graduating class at Edmond Santa Fe, 1996. And I have another 2 sisters and a brother.
Okay.
So everybody went to Edmond. Everybody pretty much still lives in Edmond. One of them lives in the city, but yeah.
That's awesome. And then, so the family business that you grew up in, then, tell us about that.
Yeah, great grandfather started Hodges Trucking, 1932. We ended up running that business, many other businesses over the years, but that was the primary core business, which was rig moving. So we moved drilling rigs.
Gotcha.
For all the big drilling companies.
Yeah.
Worked for all the major oil and gas companies throughout the years. I ended up being 4th generation, but growing up in that business was awesome. I mean, it was just awesome.
Maybe you're a kid, you're like, I get to drive trucks. Oh, I get to be around trucks, right?
Oh, yeah.
Every kid's dream when you're always playing with a dump truck when you're a kid, right? Or something, and you see these real life toys. You're like, I get to ride around in these?
I didn't realize how lucky I was when I was a kid until I got older, and I was like, I cannot believe my dad would let me operate some of that equipment at 12 years old or whatever it was. So very fortunate. It was pretty cool.
No doubt. Cool. Yeah. So when you graduate high school, then do you go to university, or are you thinking I'm going straight into business? Yeah.
So my first thought was, I need to try to see if I can do something else on my own. I was the oldest of 12 grandkids, so a lot of kids could have gone into the family business, but a lot of people just they all went different ways. But I went to OU for a little while, and it's randomly I was working for the trucking business summers and on weekends. I'd go back and forth, and I started working in the welding shop and started just working on fabricating oil field equipment. And then my mother asked me to build a bed for my sister, so that's kind of what piqued my interest.
Sure.
Out of the middle of nowhere, because I had no artistic experience that I knew of.
Right.
And then a decorator friend of hers was asking me, can you make a coffee table? Can you make curtain rods? Can you do this? And woke up one day and I'm like building furniture and stuff on a regular basis on the side. So it's kind of random.
Right. So that from there, then you, like I said, it piques your creativity and your interest, and out of nowhere you have a bunch of orders from family that says, hey, I'd like a pretty cool looking metal table.
Right.
And a glass metal top, or glass tabletop, whatever it is. And then you have orders out the wazoo and you're busy then.
Yeah. So I was going to school and I wasn't quite sure what I wanted to do. I just knew I needed to go to college. So I was studying business communications. And I had to go down to the border of Mexico in Laredo. We took a crane down there. And while I was down there, I started seeing a lot of metal furniture like stacked in these huge piles in 3-acre lots.
Yeah.
And I couldn't understand what was going on. So I pulled into one of those places. And they told me that they wholesale. People come from all over the United States and wholesale this furniture. They'll bring a U-Haul truck and fill it to the top.
Yeah.
So when they told me the pricing, I was just blown away how cheap it was compared to what it took me to make something. So being in the trucking business, going to school at OU, not quite sure what I wanted to do. I had a 10-hour drive home from Laredo, and I was just on fire. I was just thinking, oh my gosh, I can buy this and do this to it and tweak this, and I'll build my stuff and pair it with this stuff. So within a 10-hour drive, I realized that I wanted to open a small home decor and furniture store. And I was 20 years old.
Yeah.
And I never even worked in a store in a day in my life. So when I got home and told my parents that, of course, they thought I was crazy. So
like, you've been driving for 10 hours, go lay down, talk to me in the morning.
I don't think you know what you're talking about. But I had my mind set on trying to figure it out. I just, like I said, I couldn't believe how affordable. And it was so cool, some of the stuff they had. Back then, scroll work was really popular. Now it's not so much. It's all modern. But a coffee table that would maybe sell for $800 or $1,000, I could get for $125.
Yeah.
Take it back, rework it a little bit, and have pretty good margins.
No doubt.
So I talked them into helping me open a small 1,000-square-foot store in a strip center in Edmond, like a week after I turned 21.
Yeah.
which looking back now, if my kid brought that idea to me, I would highly advise that I would steer them away. Let's just say
right.
that.
Yeah. Let's try something else soon.
Get
let's
your
try
education.
Online business first, right?
Yeah. Well, nowadays, they have, back then we didn't have online.
Can't commit to a 12-month lease or whatever and be like, I'm going to sell all this stuff.
Yeah. It was pretty risky, but I got my education really quick in the furniture and home decor business. 9/11, and I ended up in North Park Mall in a 3,000 square foot store, and that ended up being a really cool experience. I had some good store owners around me, and we all fed off each other's traffic. And then 9/11 hit, and I went from probably 50 people a day coming in my 3,000 square foot store to 5.
Yeah.
And after about 2.5 months of that, and I was selling next to nothing, people just froze.
Right.
I realized real quick I was going to have to get out.
Yeah.
So I got out, and then it was like, now what am I going to do? I put all my time and effort. I quit OU.
Yeah, because you don't have a degree, right? Yeah.
I didn't finish. I got about halfway through school, so I was like, should I go back to school? I didn't love school. So my buddy, who had a motorcycle manufacturing company, sold all over the United States, had dealers all over the place. He said, why don't you come work for me for a little bit? We need a sales guy, and you're good with people. So motorcycles are awesome.
Of course.
I mean, I had only driven one a couple times, but I thought, let's just give it a shot. I went over to Ridley Motorcycle Company for about 8 months or so. Really learned a lot about selling. I had a ton of fun over there, and they were awesome to work for.
Yeah.
And I was talking to Dad one day, just trying to decide what my path was going to be, and he said, why don't you just come work in the family business for a little bit and just see if you like it.
Right.
If you don't, go do whatever you want to do. I was like, okay, let's give it a shot. I've been around this business my whole life.
Right.
I'll figure it out.